Heart of a Woman.
Welcome back to Heart of a Woman, and if you're now joining us, we at Lowlands Lifeline, and it's a beautiful church. We really enjoy being here, and our topic is women lowering their standards to get a mate or a husband. Yes, so before we went to break, we were talking about what if a woman is making more money than her husband? Yes. What advice would you give a man how to deal with it? Because we started talking about that men are hunters and they're providers and they want to do that. And some men, they have a little struggle with it. So we're asking the men suggestions to the men that are going through that. Why is Reverend Lowen laughing about this?
All right. First off, I believe that should be a discussion between the husband and the wife. I think in society today, we have where the woman, as we would have discussed education-wise and job-wise and so on, she is making more money. If the man feels threatened because of that, then he needs to buck up. I think he needs to face reality in terms of what happens in society today. And he needs to sit as a man, as a leader, as the head of the home, he needs to sit and have that discussion with his wife. So that both of them in their discussion, they can come to certain agreement, because providing or provision, I believe, goes more than just saying who collects the bigger paycheck. Because there's provision of security, all right, as well in the home, and definitely the man is the person who has that responsibility. So the man or the husband, he should not feel too threatened, but it is a discussion that he needs to have with his wife so that they can come to that common understanding and agreement.
But I'm hearing you say husband and wife, and we just talk about that, but I am pulling back to the question, should a woman lowering their standard to find a mate? And if the woman is already making more money than the guy that she is interested in, right, is she lowering her standard? Because for her, I am looking at this and I'm throwing it out, I am making more money. So why should I be with someone who is making less money?
But the question
so I have a standard. He should be making double or triple my figure, not so?
All right, and I hear you, but the question of standard, is it really a matter of possession in terms of wealth and riches? And the question is that really what, because somebody could be making, the wife could be making far more money than the man, but in terms of principles, in terms of values, in terms of ethics, she's far off the scale.
Right, so
exactly.
So that's why I was pushing that, because the finances may be just 20% of who the man is. And the 80% represents so much more than he have. And all she is gravitating to is the 20%. And then she would have lose out on so much more that this gentleman have. And that is something that we need to share, because most times they look at the person with the finances, but they may have all the money and the worst, they are like a crapo, sorry to say, right? I am using that. Or they are making all the money and they can't even comfort you or have a conversation or do anything. Because for me, having money is not at all. Because Shakespeare who said that? I'm trying to remember.
I'm not a Shakespeare fan.
High school. The Quality of Mercy. But I just forgot it.
Yeah. But is it lowering standards or having realistic expectations?
Can I just jump in?
Yes.
Because I think we're talking a lot about standards and throwing it out there, but we're not even talking about the main issue to marriage. First, before we can talk about standards, we need to know what we're referring to. right? So for example, Bureau of Standards, they look at consumer rights and all that type of thing. So that standards might be different, or I don't know, standards in terms of a profession, like medical doctors, the standards that we need to approach. We need to know what is the field, what is the thing, what we're talking about, that it's marriage. And I think one of the challenges that we have is that people don't understand that marriage is ministry. It is not just getting together and, you know, there is a purpose behind marriage. And if we understand what marriage is, what our purpose is as an individual, then we'll match better with persons. There are a lot of persons out there walking around, they don't know what their purpose is. They don't even know if purpose exists. You know, they're just living life. They, you know, they look great. They're educated, as you said, and they lack values. They lack morals. They're just emotionally bankrupt individuals, and it's sad. But we really truly need to understand what marriage is about. Back in the day, pre-industrial times, marriage was about security in terms of economics. It was an economic thing. So you had plenty of children, so they could help you in terms of going for the sheep, the fall, whatever, toting water. Back then, washing wares was a little picnic walk. My granny told me that. Listen, don't ever complain about washing wares. It's a little picnic walk. I don't have a little picnic, so I still have to wash it all now. So I don't know, she lied to me. But yeah, so it was about economy then, and now we're getting into the era of love, and people are marrying because they love each other and all that great stuff. And we're recognizing with that marital satisfaction has the potential to also increase. So people actually enjoy marriages in some areas, some people aren't. And so, what is marriage? Why do we need to get married? What do we expect from this marriage? You know, we expect, and for me, because for a while, I was single and I was kind of just, you know, floating around. And
I hope it's floating and not flirting.
I was very flirtatious too.
Okay. Your pastor will probably hear this.
Let him hear, it's fine. I know I'm friendly, so I'm flirtatious, but I was never the type to be just bounding around from here to here to there. But I really, when we talk about standards and lists, I have my list. I have a list, right? So the guy had to be over 6 feet,
and that's the problem.
And God blessed me with that time. Honestly, I thought the guy had to have a master's degree or higher. Honestly, I thought he had to be doing pretty well, executive thing, driving a nice vehicle.
And that's
I
what
had
you're
my
saying.
list of different things, and my list changed as time goes by because I had that. I had a guy who was really who had his master's degree and but he treated me like crap. So yeah, because what you would recognize though is that these guys are rare.
Yeah.
Right? And so they're generally, in terms of their behavior, they could get away with a little bit more than somebody who is not as attractive or somebody who's not as educated.
They get away because we allow them to get away because yes.
It's like a
Because we think those are the knight in shining armors, right?
And we live in denial, and that's why you have so much domestic abuse, because you live in denial of what.
I don't even know if it's denial sometimes. I think people really don't know. I was in a place, even though I was educated, because I have a PhD in family studies, masters in marital and family therapy. Relationships were bandied around, like that topic was bandied around every day while I was in school. I saw countless clients helping them with their own relationships. Yet when it came to, in terms of, okay, who are you, Crystal? What is the best match for you? I was lost. There was a period where I would just be on YouTube looking at how to catch the right guy. What does God want from you?
Right.
Seriously, I was literally, you don't know, we talk about all these things about blah, 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 but we really don't help people to narrow down on who they are. And that's a good match for you.
And it starts with, you know, as you said, who are you? And then, you know, I kind of gonna differ a bit when you said, you know, marriage was, you know, back in the industrial days, it was the children having children, but the Bible.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh well, I probably interpreted.
I said that children were.
They had a lot of children.
Economic, right? That's what I'm saying. But you know, the Bible had a standard or stated what marriage is, and
what did the Bible say about marriage?
That marriage is honorable, right? And when we look at the word honorable, it means that it's something that is good, something that is beneficial, and something that is worthy. And so, even as you start to dig into the scripture about what marriage is and the provision of a husband and the provision of a wife, it says that a man should leave his mother and cleave unto his wife. It means then that in the beginning it says that a man's supposed to be able to dominate, a man's supposed to be able to be in charge, and you treat your wife as you would treat the church. You know, there are different scriptures, I'm just pulling out. And so, with that biblical knowledge or whatever, we have not sat with young people, and I would always go back to that and say, okay, because we have young people who are at the stage where they want to have a mate, where they have education, marriage, home, all these three components they are juggling around with, right? Educate, and so we don't really sit with them to help them to compartmentalize, as they say, or put things in perspective.
But let me add, Joel, and I don't mean to cut you, it's not just young people. I know a lot of people over 40 who are single, who don't know how to...
Right. No, but I was just talking about at that stage, when you reach that, we haven't done anything. And
yeah, but guys, what I want to... So we're talking about marriage now, but what about the young lady? Because we're talking about this person who dumbing down or lowering standards. Before we get to that place of saying, I do, the list, because you talk about the list, and that's a question I wanted to ask. Most young women or most women, we have a list, right? Yes?
We're supposed to have a list.
They have a list. Even if it's not a physical list,
no,
but you have a list.
Ask all the women in the audience. I'm sure they had a list.
You all had a list or have a list? Okay. Is it a realistic list? Okay.
No, it's realistic. But you know, sometimes God just does not allow you to have everything on your list. Yeah. You may have had everything on your list, as you said.
And let me just, yes, I had a list, and my wife had a list. As a matter of fact, she had a list, and she encouraged me to get a list. All right.
So, Mr. Benjamin, sense. You had a list?
Yes. He said.
Well,
you could just say it. You could just
I had.
Well, remember, you have to go home with Mrs. Benjamin tonight.
No,
eh?
I could.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I had standards.
What did you say?
I had standards.
Right. Okay.
A lot of my transformation came about because I look at females, and I look at how they operate. And I was like, you know, we men, we do go down that road like how they just do it. He needs to have this, he needs to have that, he needs to do this, that. She looks good, she dressed good, she smells great, she laughs, she's funny. I did.
And you don't know, so the cooking not important yet.
Our standards are a lot superficial to some extent.
Right. Yes,
but,
and I like that.
But as well, in defense of us men, one of my standards was she had to be good looking.
All right, hold that thought, guys. We're going to a break. Yeah, so we're going to a break, guys, and we'll be right back.
Heart of a Woman.